Hi babes, welcome to Hamilton's Halogen, and this is your friend, Carrie Hamilton. This is a place where darkness meets illumination and truth becomes your turning point. Just like a halogen light burns brighter and hotter to reveal darkness, this podcast is about bringing light into places that many avoid. If you've ever felt lost in the dark, this space is for you. It's time to stop surviving and start shining. I want to take you back to grammar school, and remember when we had to learn the color wheel, and we had to learn all the different, there's primary colors, there's secondary colors, there's complementary colors. Remember how we had to learn all that? What if I told you that healing and feelings and just life in general, emotions, those actually work the same exact way? Let me explain. So here is an example of the feelings wheel. So just like you have a colors wheel, this is the feelings wheel. So when you are going into trying to discover what triggers you, how to heal that, how to handle your emotions, why are things bothering you that may be decades old, or why are things even bothering you or setting you off to begin with, maybe things that never bothered you before. This feelings wheel is very, very great to utilize as a tool to get to the bottom of that. For instance, let's just use this as an example. When you have hate or you have anger, the opposite, or as I would say, the complementary feeling of that is fear. So there's something inside of you, whether it happened to you in your past, whether it's happening to you now, whether it's something you fear to lose because maybe you work so hard to receive, whatever it is, if something gives you fear inside of yourself, you are going to then project an anger or a hatred or, madness to that fear or that emotion when you fear, because you are basically projecting that complementary feeling. And the way that you heal that is by healing what that complementary thing is. So if you're walking around and you're having hatred and you're, always angry, you have to ask yourself, well, what am I fearing? What is causing fear inside of me that is making me angry? That is making me, have hatred against whatever situation that it is that you're going through. Another thing too is I actually don't like using the word heal, because if you are not one who can look inside of other people's perspectives, maybe not, set your mindset to understand others' views. A lot of times you think you did nothing wrong or that you're perfect. And I'll be the first to tell you, you're not perfect. There's nobody perfect in here, because we are all imperfectly perfect. And you are supposed to be imperfect because you are your own person, and that is what makes you. But anyway, I just do not like the word heal, because a lot of people, first of all, when they hear that word, they think work and, stress and chaos and, oh my God, I have to heal something. Then they also feel that something's wrong with them. Healing doesn't mean that anything is wrong with you. It means that you're trying to, again, go back to the complementary feeling and see what's triggering you to act in the opposite manner. So again, using the fear and the anger example that I gave you. Also, when people think healing, again, they think that they're taking ownership or accountability, which, yes, that is needed in some cases. However, people think that, well, I'm not taking all the blame. This person did this or they did this to me and it's not right and so forth. So I don't even like using that word heal. So rather than use the word heal, I want you to look at and use this word instead. I want you to think of the word heal as love. How can you love yourself more? How can you love the situation, even if it was toxic, horrible, things that were done to you that no human should ever have to go through? I am not saying that you have to bypass any of those horrible things that were done to you or, things that you experienced. But how can we make a toxic situation, a horrible situation, and turn it into love? And that begins by loving yourself for the situations and the things that you encounter. So again, going back to the wheel, what is the complementary feeling to why you're feeling the way that you are? Now, there's only 2 commandments that were ever given, and it's love thy Lord and then love thy neighbor like thyself. How could you love somebody like thy neighbor if you don't love thyself? How could you love them in that manner or respect them in that manner if you don't have that within yourself? You can't feel something that you don't have, right? Well, how you do that is forgiveness. Now wait, you're not forgiving the people or the situation or whatever occurred. What you're forgiving is your sense of why you were in that situation, how you let it take hold of you. You're forgiving yourself in the healing aspect of giving yourself love and finding peace within that situation. Come to a peaceful understanding, knowing that what they did to you had nothing to do with you personally. It was a complementary feeling to something that was within them. So again, if they're fearing something and then here they hurt you or they placed hatred against you, it was something inside of them causing the fear for them to act that way towards you. So that's what you're forgiving. You're forgiving the fact that they do not have knowledge, nor are they anywhere near the loving aspect of themselves to be able to understand that you can't act in hatred because of the fear that you have inside of you. So what you are doing is you're finding in your heart and you're forgiving yourself for allowing their unfortunate feelings and situations to become part of you, and you're giving yourself peace, and you're acknowledging that you no longer have to hold that baggage of their feelings, and you no longer have to let that be a part of you, and you cannot go any longer taking the broken pieces of somebody else and cutting yourself for them and trying to find peace through that. It is now your time to find that complementary feeling, address that situation, find peace within your heart, and allow them to carry on with the pieces of their issues and their feelings and the pain that they have themselves. It is not your job to heal them, or as I said today, we're going to use the word love. It is not your job to love them, but it is your job to love and heal yourself. And if you don't, you will continue to fall on the feelings of the complementary feeling and project the opposite to others, because inside of you, that is the healing and the love that you need to give yourself so that you could stop acting in the complementary feeling that is causing every single day to be in gloom. We are all creatures of habit, and whether it's good or bad habits, that becomes our normal. Our brain is the master of everything. Our actions follow our thoughts, and our mind is that master. What the mind says, the body follows. So if you constantly put yourself in situations that are toxic and catastrophic and cause your body and your mind to constantly be in survival mode, trying to go through whatever toxic situation that you're in, your mind and your body are now feeling that is the normal, but it's anything but normal. Your experiences, your environments, drugs, whether it's street drugs or pharmaceutical drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, caffeine, all of these things affect the mind. Our mind is made up of all different kinds of chemicals: serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin, adrenaline. I could go on and on and on. When you are in heightened situations, toxic situations, and you're constantly being, in that survival mode, you're constantly having to defend yourself and so forth, your brain is releasing so much cortisol, which also causes inflammation throughout your whole entire body. This is why you have to find that complementary feeling to what your day-to-day is and start withdrawing yourself from that feeling and those situations and environments so that you can become healthy again. Matthew 12:15 says, Jesus withdrew from that place. Many followed him, and he healed all of their sick. It's time for you to withdraw from the situations that are causing you to be sick so that you could begin to heal. And healing is loved. And I will tell you this, you are so incredibly loved. The seeds of your thoughts are what you plant inside of your body, inside of your garden, to bloom. If your soil is damaged, if your seeds are stale, and if the water that you're watering yourself with is poisoned, you cannot bloom, you cannot blossom, you cannot flourish, you cannot grow. And abundance does not and will never blossom through abandonment. This is why it's time that you love thyself so that you can love thy neighbor, and it begins with love from thy Lord.